Hi folks, this is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Silver Lungs generator. Now you can produce pure and endless colloidal silver and deliver the solution directly into the bloodstream by breathing the solution through the lungs. The respiratory system is the first line of defense for airborne pathogens and viruses. The Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced nano-silver solutions and also delivers the silver nanoparticles instantly into the bloodstream. With continued legislation threatening the sale of nano-silver products, you can now produce pure and endless colloidal silver with the Silver Lungs generator. Very easy to follow step-by-step instructions are provided, making production fast and simple. Go to www.silverlungs.com today and learn more about the breakthrough technology of the Silver Lungs generator. That's www.silverlungs.com. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Hi folks, this is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5 Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091. Visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Well, Lindsey Williams has made predictions that have come true time and time again, just like other analysts we have on, like Gerald Celente yesterday. But this isn't really somebody analyzing, though he's a smart guy. This is a former oil company CEO that Lindsey worked with for many years, that is a globalist, that's a good source of info, and so it's some insider info, and so he's going to give us a synopsis, then I'm going to take some calls, then he's going to flesh it out in more detail. But Lindsey, they have said a lot of the workers are getting sick who are cleaning this up. I thought it was because of the dispersant they're using, which they admit is much more toxic than crude oil. I know some toxic things come out of certain types of wells, especially deep wells. But you were telling me, and now even the EPA today, you were trying to get a hold of me last week, but here you are now. Now the EPA has come out and said, yeah, there's a bunch of other toxic stuff coming out in this 500,000 gallons a day. And people have noticed a lot of times black isn't coming out of the hole, brown and green and of course, from undersea cameras, it distorts the colors, but other stuff other than oil clearly is coming out, and people are saying, is it a mud volcano? What is it? And now there's 2 other fissures they've confirmed miles away leaking. And we know sometimes, like in the Beverly Hillbillies, it's fiction, but Jed Clampett shoots at a squirrel, and up from the ground came a bubbling crude Texas tea, black gold. But So in a lot of cases in the U.S., La Brea tar pit in L.A., oil comes up on its own on the seabed. So did they get into some mega fissure or something? Break it down for us from your inside sources, exactly what's going on here, Lindsey Williams.
Alex, please allow me to give just a very brief background to what happened in the Gulf of Mexico.
Sure, you've got the floor. And then we're going to get a call from somebody who says they're a Halliburton insider. Go ahead.
Okay, in 1970, the Russians drilled that called ST3 wells, an exploratory well which finally reached a staggering world record depth of 40,230 feet. Since then, Russia and a major oil company, Yukos, have quietly drilled 310 successfully deep wells, putting them into production. And last year, Russia overtook Saudi Arabia as the world's largest single oil producer and is now set to completely dominate global oil production and the sales for the next century. What they found was abiotic fuel when they got to oil, when they got to that depth. Now, please write this down, abiotic oil. It is from the chemical process that's taking place in the heart of the earth, and as a result, the textbooks on oil are going to have to be rewritten because it is not a fossil fuel, and there is no such thing as peak oil, and the shallow oil wells of Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Mexico are replenishing from these deep sources. Now, Russia had sense enough, and please notice this word, it's emphatic. Russia had sense enough to drill their Kola SG3 well on the land, not in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, what is happening in the Gulf of Mexico? I contacted Mr. X, and he said, here's what happened. What I found out is frightening. I mean, it scares me. It appears that British Petroleum, BP, not an American oil company, it should have never been allowed to take place. Our government made a horrible mistake. They allowed British Petroleum to try to do what Russia did and drill a super deep well, not on land, but too stupid. BP was so stupid as to try drilling in the ocean, offshore, on a floating platform. Are you catching all of these words? This platform is controlled and kept in place by sophisticated GPS equipment in the Gulf of Mexico in water that's 5,000 feet deep.
Yeah, it's got big robotically controlled jets and propellers, just like cruise ships have to keep them from rocking. It has a similar system. It's firing. I think they call it an azipod system to keep it in place.
Yes. Now keep in mind, 1 mile is 5,280. They went down 5,000 feet in water, and then they began their drilling, and here's the depth they went to. This is right from BP's. Now, there are some people in BP that are so concerned for human beings and love our nation to the point that they have told me the story. I had 2 BP informants along with my Mr. X of Energy Non-Crisis. Now, they drilled between 25 and 30,000 feet deep in 5,000-foot water. That means that they went somewhere between 30 and 30,000 feet. This is what is called a super deep well. They hit something so catastrophic and unexpected that they could not contain it.
And the news has now admitted that 3 hours before, they had executives and engineers and petroleum geologists rushing out there on helicopters because they knew something was about to happen.
That's exactly right, and it did, except it was much worse than they ever thought for. Now, let me state very emphatically, this positively is not a conspiracy. They did not intend for this to happen. This is an accident. They hit a strata of oil at such high pressure that it burst all of their safety valves. The pressure behind the oil is so high that it destroyed the maximum efforts of human science to contain it. And at Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, for instance, the oil is in the ground at approximately 1,500 pounds of natural artesian pressure. And when I was chaplain there, I watched many oil wells being brought in. The very first thing that they gave in an oil well at Prudhoe Bay was the flow rate of the wellhead. The second thing they would always give immediately is the pressure, the artesian pressure coming up with that oil. Have you ever noticed, and now you can think of this for a moment, Alex, nowhere, no media, nobody has told anything about the well.
No, that is the first thing they do is they get a well reading on its pressure, and we haven't heard what pressure it's coming out.
They don't dare tell what pressure it came out, because in the Gulf of Mexico, the BP oil well, what they have announced is so different than what really is.
But see, that fits in with the fact that there's other fissures miles away that it's coming up with such pressure, like a water hose going into the dirt can burrow. It's coming up from below and blasting up almost like a volcano, creating other fissures. But we're going to find out from a fellow that says they're a petroleum geologist just in a moment. But please continue, Lindsay.
Yes, keep in mind that the tire on your automobile is 35 pounds per square inch approximately. If you were driving a big tractor-trailer rig, you'd have 100 pounds per square inch, PSI. A reliable source estimated